I'll give you a clue. It was Grimsby.
They are pressing quite well. What's happened there? You've got to be joking.
Oh, sorry, I've done it the wrong way around. I've drawn an arrow and I haven't seen it. Sorry.
He must have a horseshoe up his arse.
If we're playing on professional and that's happening for Barcelona...
2 years ago. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry, that's just put me off the game. I'm not having that.
Anyway, segue, moving on.
What has that got to do with football? Why is that at a football ground?
Hello and welcome to another Ramble from the Honest Football Podcast. We're bringing honesty back to the beautiful game. I'm Daniel Cody, and with me as usual are Craig Savage and Charlie Betts. Join me as we go through the weird and wonderful stories of the footballing world and a little bit of controversy this week as well.
So how's your week been, guys? It is very, very cold outside. It's snowy as we are recording this.
Well, I've actually had a day off. My school was called off at 5:30 this morning, so I woke up at 4:30. Did two naps this afternoon. Put a bit of sealant on my bathtub and my sink. Cleared the driveway. Sat and watched TV for the rest of the day.
So your school was postponed, Cody? Was your GP postponed, or was it
No,
abandoned?
we're not allowed to close. I had the opposite problem to Charlie, which is my other half's school nursery was closed at 6:30, and I had to go to work while she stayed in bed, which is not the nicest feeling in the world.
No.
And Craig, you were a have-a-go hero today, I hear.
Well, I wasn't really a hero. Well, it depends on the age group of
He had to
the person
apprehend
you're
the thief
asking.
at work.
Oh yeah, I did, yeah. Well, I played a small part.
Go on.
Well, obviously he tried to mix some alcohol, and then
What? No, he not just any alcohol. He went for the champagne. So
champagne and Coppa.
If he's going to go,
the big ones.
If he's going to go,
it might be prosecco, but it's
either
not
way, he's not gone
way.
for the white lightning, is he? You know what I mean, if he's going to go, he's gone big, and he's going to go out in a blaze of glory.
If you go in and nick something that's 90p, I mean, you're clutching at straws, aren't you? Let's go for the big one, the 30 quid whopper.
But obviously,
so he was apprehended by who?
The undercover security guard, and I just held his arm really, just to make sure he didn't go swinging up like for a punch or anything like that.
And
I think a load of people, a load of kids were watching, a little bit scared, not going to lie. The guy was an absolute junkie.
I think it's important we say at this stage, don't steal.
No.
Don't steal people.
But I didn't realise,
Craig
was telling me, sorry, a very quick side note, in a supermarket, it's not technically stealing, so you leave the premises.
That is true.
So the man can run around with bottles of champagne, running around the shop, and
Of course he can.
If I didn't realise that, like even if
You're
he's
in the
running
shop, you
around,
haven't stolen it, have you?
You haven't left the building yet.
if you're running in a threatening manner for the door, you can't actually touch him until he leaves the door. So he could run up to the door, like you were telling me, someone was trying to kick the door down once they locked the door, or was it a fire exit?
Trying to kick a fire exit.
But they couldn't actually apprehend him because he hadn't broken the door
But
and gone through.
He's just running away for some dust. He might turn around just before the door and go back and pay. You never know what he's running for.
I just thought it was quite funny that you've got to wait until you...
Yeah, it's like, go on, mate.
Wait
You know you're
until
going
he
to
leaves your shop, which then thus making it harder to catch him until you can actually catch him.
Well, that's all the great things about politics and legality that we don't do this podcast for.
But no, Craig, well done for being a hero and saving your company. How much? 20 quid?
50 quid probably. It was a couple of bottles, but I think don't matter. But,
well done,
yeah.
mate. Well done.
And now it's time for Ramble of the Week.
Okay, we normally start in the elite sort of level of the game, you know, championship and all this sort of stuff, but we're going to start as close to home as we possibly could, which is with our very own Mr. Craig Savage.
Scandals!
And basically his single-handed attempt to completely take the carpet from underneath non-league football and just ruin it forever. In a nutshell, do you want to explain yourself, Craig, or would you rather Dan and I sort of present your case? Or...
Well, what is it to
Well,
explain?
we're actually going to do
We'll take it as you want us to tell you.
we're going to do an extended episode on it, aren't we, on Tuesday?
So we're going to have a little
kind of
discussion in midweek about the difference between sportsmanship, gamesmanship, and just cheating. Because we've got some fine lines here, some grey areas.
It wasn't cheating.
So essentially, just to put it out into layman's terms, we'll be very quick over this, Craig. There was a mistake on a team sheet from the opposition that you noticed before the game. I say you, I'm saying you as a collective, as in you as your management team noticed before the game. They then played the game and beat your team.
Yeah, fair enough. Nothing wrong with the game.
And you then decided to call shenanigans on the team sheet afterwards.
I didn't call shenanigans.
Well, as a management team.
We
gave you collectively.
We gave them the chance to say, did this player come on? And they said, and the management and the secretary both went, yes.
But Craig, my issue was it was clearly a human error on the team sheet.
Obviously, that's technically, as we discussed privately, rules are rules, and technically they
as you discussed, and we vehemently disagreed.
But But funny enough, on their FA full-time website, they put the player that actually played, as in...
Well, they probably
on
noticed
there.
their mistake by now.
Yeah,
But then that makes it worse.
And what we do need to point out is just myself and Charlie's argument is both the player who they mistakenly put on the team sheet and the player who actually came on were registered and eligible to play.
Yes, they're both eligible to play.
So
but
it had no bearing on the game or the club.
Technically, that player was ineligible because his name
I would like to refer back,
sheet.
without sounding like a solicitor, I would like to refer back to your very first comment in our WhatsApp group, which was, I'm just trying to claw back 3 points.
I never said that.
You said, I can show you. I can show you.
I did not say.
I will screenshot it, put it on the Twitter if I need to.
I did not say that.
You said the exact words, I'm just trying to claw back 3
I didn't
points.
say it.
And what have we said about...
Now you're twisting words.
What have we said about non-league?
Carry on.
Football's for everyone.
Yeah.
We're trying to make it more of a social occasion, the lower level of non-league. And some swines just come along and decide that winning must be everything. Competition above general human being. To have day-to-day. He could have been working 50 hours a week, that bloke. He could have been absolutely knackered. He's come down, he's made a genuine mistake on a team sheet, and you've gone and gone, oh, well now we've lost the game. 3 points.
I just feel like it was a slight win at all costs attitude, but that's...
We'll have to wait. The league have a league committee meeting next week, so we'll find out then.
That's fine. I mean, it could have been avoided, but we'll find out.
Knowing the Beds County League, as we know, we don't guess the fines in the Beds County League. They will bottle it. They will fucking bottle it.
And as to be fair to you, as Charlie said in that episode, it's a disgrace how small the fines are for making a mistake on the team sheet.
But they shouldn't be.
The Beds County League are bottled.
Can I just point out that Charlie's still trying to look for that comment?
It's in there. I know it's in there.
That's how many messages we send.
We'll carry on talking.
So, well, we were hoping to go to Charlie's feel-good story.
I have got a good one actually. Okay.
Meanwhile,
I say feel good. It was just more humorous. Sheffield United played Norwich recently. I don't know if you know them.
Oh, the goal celebration you talking about?
No. Well, there was the goal celebration about Billy Sharp. But did you know Norwich, in a way of intimidating their away players, had painted their change room pink?
We knew that from the start of the season.
Yes.
So do you know what Sheffield United's physio and backroom staff did? They covered the walls with white A4 paper in the changing room while they were there, and I just thought that was quite a clever thing to do. They literally went around, blue tacked, A4 paper all around the walls.
See, I bet Norwich didn't think that happened when they painted the walls, did they?
No. That's some effort though to actually turn. They must have obviously known, which is because it's.
Oh, they knew. I mean, Leeds
posted it. We've had a lot of controversy in recent weeks about sizes of changing rooms. That must have been a lot of A4.
That's what I mean.
I'm a little bit worried about the environment there.
Well, maybe it's just more than
how much it would have cost in your local supermarket.
Well, I mean, thinking of the trees as well. It's a lot of
the trees. Yeah.
They've got a mass distribution deal. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
I'd like to move on to another corruption story while Charlie still searches for that.
No, it's coming. And
I'm going to link Craig Savage's corruption scandal to that of Paris Saint-Germain chairman Nasser Al-Khelaifi.
I can't believe you're comparing myself to the PSG chairman.
Well, this is a story that you two have said you...
Hang
on. Breaking news, Charlie.
17... So, the messages went, a few things that have happened, Luton, blah, blah, about Stoke, we were talking about that.
No one cares about Nathan Jones.
And so, Dan, you said at 2016, on Saturday evening, so obviously just gone 8:15, good tapping up, referring to Nathan Jones. Your next, at 2017, I'm trying to claw back the 3 points I didn't win today.
Very good.
There you go. They're in black and white. And you said that. So that shows this is a premeditative thing to do. I'm not having it great. No.
Saying that.
You cannot. Well, I've got it in black and white there from you. Anyway, so that's the PSG.
As we were saying, from one snake to another. Right.
What? So we talking about Nathan Jones again?
The PSG chairman. I don't know. This absolutely astonished me, and this even for me overshadowed Craig's story this week.
I'm glad it has.
Paris Saint-Germain, you may be aware, are being investigated by UEFA regarding financial regularities, financial fair play, and some potential dealings in transfers, with third parties and things like that.
The Mbappe one.
However, yes, that's one of them. However, at the same time, he is now set to join UEFA's executive committee, having been elected to the board.
And we wonder why football... So your story aside, Craig, we wonder why football is falling apart.
You're being investigated by an organisation who have also elected you to its delegates.
It just doesn't make any sense, does it?
Oh, well,
I mean, if you took that,
Stan Kroenke next, isn't it?
No, but I know people say that football's a different world. But if you took that on paper, if you just looked at it as what the offences are and stuff, and put that in any other industry, there'd be an outcry, wouldn't there? The people would not stand for that. But for some reason, it's okay to have that kind of thing going on in football.
To be fair, we do get that in the American government.
Okay, yeah, well, okay.
And not quite the same sort of thing.
Well, they're both.
I mean, we're not political.
One of the interesting things for me, he's been elected by the European Club Association to be one of its 2 UEFA delegates. So he's got a 50% part of that. And more importantly, his statement, which is hilarious. I look forward to working alongside members to enhance and develop European football. Here comes your favourite sentence, or part of a sentence, I should say. A subjective clause, the teacher might call it. Whilst ensuring that the interests of all clubs are represented in the decision-making process. Now, I don't think all clubs want their PSG to get off lightly by being elected to the board. But it baffled me and I was left speechless.
I would hardly say that was quite a fair thing. I want to get your thoughts on this really, because you two be a lot more of an expert at this. But the whole Peterborough saga of then Darren Ferguson coming back for a third time.
Yes,
within was it within 2 hours of the previous manager getting sacked?
Well, I heard. Well, Darren Ferguson said that they rang him up on the Friday to say, "Oh, do you want to be Can you be the next?"
Peterborough got a good result against Charlton. They got a point. It's a good result.
Good point against Charlton. Charlton are doing very well at the moment in the league, but
they're going to win it, as I said at the start of the
season.
Well,
no, because we know.
Is that harsh on Evans or not? Does he go?
He spent a lot of money during the summer.
But what do I expect? I say the same for Luton as a Luton fan. Obviously, they're up there in second at the moment. If Luton finish fifth, how can you complain? You've got Sunderland. Sunderland have just spent $4 million on deadline day to get an extra body in up front.
Yeah.
Barnsley are spending big money. They're taking players from the likes of Luton. I know we've done it back in January. And Charlton are a big club. They were in the Premier League 10 years ago. You can't expect that. Peterborough are the small clubs there.
Hold on a minute. What's that got to do with anything being in the Premier League 10 years ago? It's 10 years ago, man.
No, I appreciate that, but they've got a structure. They've got a 30,000 stadium. They've got everything in place.
The fans are freaking against their owners. They throw tennis balls every week.
If you can't see why Charlton is a bigger club, even as a Luton fan, I will say Charlton's a bigger club.
What, just because they were in the Premier League?
No, Charlton's a bigger club at the moment. They have better facilities. They have a bigger ground. Why are Luton building a new ground? Because they need bigger facilities.
They would have a remaining infrastructure. I suppose the training ground naturally would be...
Yeah, it would naturally be well.
It's just interesting, especially the timing of it, really. I mean, Darren Ferguson's not going to be able to bring any players in. Well, maybe some loans, but do you know what I mean? Like, was there any point in getting rid of the manager now?
I think he's had a falling out with the owner.
Oh yeah. As we saw with the...
You know what Steve Evans is like? He'll say how he sees it, to be honest. And most of the time he's wrong.
Unless it's relating to tax, of course.
Or tax or tackles or... We're not getting political.
Sorry. Not too much politics.
No. But yeah, Steve Evans has that brass about him anyway. He'll get another job soon. It'll probably be in League 2. But do I think he deserves a sack? Probably not. People are still in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but I think they're for that. Behind the scenes, I think they've had a massive fall.
They're right. They're fifth. You can't ask for more than that, or they're sixth now. But you can't ask for much more than that.
They're on a bad.
Was it mutual consent, by the way? I didn't check it.
I think
did it say sack?
I don't. I think it just said he'd left the club.
Oh right.
The problem I have is we've talked a lot about managers getting sacked unfairly, but we've got to start to talk the other way in terms of managers who are speaking out against clubs, and even so, clubs going behind managers' backs. So we as Luton fans complain about the manager running off. But then the club have gone and done the same thing there for Peterborough.
Yeah, that is. Yeah,
it's exactly the same thing in reverse, isn't it?
I couldn't believe that. I still can't believe it. 2 hours and we sort of even on Friday.
It was literally at the end of the game.
I still think in not that it's like having a wife, but you shouldn't be speaking to another manager all the time. You've still got a manager in charge, even if you know you're
get the divorce papers through.
Yeah, exactly.
And then go dating.
Essentially, I know it wasn't Luton's fault because it was forced on them, but essentially what Luton have done, where you have your manager obviously goes for whatever reason, whether you sacked him or he's left. You then have that transition period and you get a new one in. To line up someone else before you've even got rid of the old one, I think that it just leaves a sour taste in your mouth, doesn't it, really?
Yeah. So I to be honest, I think there should be... I know we had saw something on Twitter the other day about things I would ban.
Yes, yeah. What did you put forward again?
Half and half scars. Because it's fucking true. And Mexican waves all day.
And every other one of your midweek runs.
Every one of my midweek runs, especially... No. But yeah, I forgot what we were talking about there. Ban. What would we ban? We should ban clubs poaching other managers while they're actually at a club.
Well, I imagine we need a transfer window because this comes up quite a lot, and I imagine this will eventually be another discussion. But
do we need a transfer
window for managers?
But the thing is, I do wonder.
Yeah, well, you have the summer.
Well, I got
not during the season.
Surely it actually is illegal to do what Stoke have done with Luton. It must be illegal.
It's illegal. It's Stoke's players. You can't.
But that's the thing. But it's obviously still going on. So I think even if you have a window, that's still going to happen, isn't it? You know what I mean? You're still going to have people tap them up. It's just going to be done over a longer period of time, isn't it?
So do we then take Craig's approach, saying, "Well, there's rules. Why don't they actually get followed?"
rules are rules.
You know,
Simple as.
especially if you notice things beforehand,
Yeah.
you can intercept them rather than leaving them until after, can't you? But
That's the FA's downfall. I'm going to move on.
You go, yes.
I'm going to move on. I'm going to talk about Ishmael Miller. He's.
This is a brilliant
I
story.
I knew you would. But he's at Tranmere at the moment, but he's currently injured. Okay. He's currently injured, and he's told the club to not give him any wages until he's fit again.
And do you know what I like best about this?
Real admiration for that.
Because it was Nicky Mellon, the manager, who came out and said that. Mickey Mellon, sorry. I always call him Nicky Mellon. Mickey Mellon came out. Obviously, Tranmere, they'd started really well and they're having a bit of a tough time at the moment. They've had a few injuries, they've got a bit of a small squad, and because they've been in non-league for a few years before, they've lost a bit of their finance. So for him to come out and say that, the player didn't want it to be publicised, he just wanted to go about it, he didn't want any credit for it, and the manager had to come out and do it, which I think is the even better thing. Because normally you'll get a player coming out, you see certain players at the elite level, I won't name any names, who come out and go, look what I'm doing for charity.
Yeah, it's a PR thing.
It's a PR stunt because you know you're going to make more money out of it in the long run. Whereas this guy, he's just saying, fair enough, I'm injured, don't worry about it.
Yeah. I hope he gets a speedy recovery and gets back playing.
Well, I think it's just it's good that he's acknowledging that the club needs to move forward, and actually him taking that money when he, not that he doesn't deserve it, because obviously he's his contract and that, but I think it's the fact that he's putting the team before himself. I think that's probably
that's more important. And when you're putting football before yourself,
exactly,
which is something that some of us just don't do.
When you become, I can't do it. No, not again.
That's the last time I'll do it. I promise.
Really quickly.
Before sorry, Charlie. Before you go on, I haven't done anything wrong. Just to let you know, I haven't done anything wrong.
Morally, you've completely gutted football.
And that's the debate we're going to have on Tuesday: legal or moral.
My favourite manager, Carl Robinson.
God.
So you're like, this is like Craig's Rangers.
No. This is a positive story, but I don't know the full facts of it. I don't know if you might be able to shed some light on it. So they've signed for Isthmian Premier Division side Lewes' centre forward. John T. Smith. I don't know if I pronounced that right.
John T. Smith.
Bermuda International, 24-year-old. But Lewes cancelled his contract so he could go, which then concerns me a little bit. Do they get any kind of money for him? He's a 24-year-old non-league striker.
But most players at that level, because Lewes will be tier 7 or below, because they're not in the north or south. So they're going to be...
Yeah, slightly low. They're in the Isthmian League.
Yeah, so they're going to be... Sorry, I was so overwhelmed by the story. Most players at that level will either be on minimal contracts or pay. So,
but I just sort of feel like they're losing... You know, he scored 56 goals in 121 games for him, so he's quite prolific.
Good stat.
So what I mean is that even though it's an Isthmian League club, there must be some form of compensation, whether it's
well, maybe
if he's transfers.
If he's cancelled his contract, then he
didn't cancel it.
If the club cancelled it, the club get no money.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So there must be something. I can't believe
it might be a friendly in the summer.
Is it the club cancelled it, but Oxford agreed they'd pay it off? Or
hopefully Oxford.
Or maybe they just sent them some bibs. You know,
they're part of the fines. Those bibs.
Exactly. They're important. And they've got to have respect on them as well. Can I move to Italy briefly?
Go for it.
I want to talk about a remarkable Coppa Italia game that took place yesterday.
Oh, was this Fiorentina Roma?
No, it wasn't. That one I am going to mention later, but this one is Inter Milan v Lazio.
Oh.
So it went to extra time, it was 0-0. Okay.
Scrap extra time.
Well, normally you'd say that because it's quite boring, it's a dull affair,
they're
nothing
tired.
happens. In the 108th minute, Lazio took the lead. In the 124th minute, Lazio had a red card. In the 125th minute, Inter Milan equalised with a Icardi penalty to take it to penalty shootout, and Inter Milan lost.
Oh no!
How did the game get to 125?
Wow,
because of the red card, there was a bit of a debacle.
But that was in 124th.
Yeah, but we do. I don't want stereotype here. But the tactical defensive play that you love so much in Italy.
I don't do defensive play.
There's a tremendous amount of time wasting in there.
Well, you're going to be proven wrong in the game series because you don't attack on.
I do attack. You just can't defend.
You got anything, Craig?
Yeah, I'm going to go over from Italy to Portugal. Obviously, Benfica Women.
Oh, I saw this. Yeah,
17 games.
Talking of politics, this is absolutely ridiculous that they think this is okay to do this. To put a team who clearly have players.
I think by Craig's face, you don't have the same story.
No.
Well, I was talking about their stats.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 17 games.
They have professional women players playing in a non-league league, and they knew that, and they presented that, and they were still told they need to go down to the lowest tier and work their way up. And what are their stats, Craig?
17 games, 17 wins, 0 obviously draws and defeats, 298 goals scored, just a 1 goal conceded, 16 clean sheets. They conceded their first goal. and 5-1 win.
They won 32-0.
week.
I can't remember if it was that game, but there was a women's game I saw last week where they were scoring. They were like 15-20 up.
Yeah, I think it's
and they were running into the goal to get the ball, to get the goal difference, to go and score again.
Well, I think
we're talking about winning at all costs. It's 20-0, give it a break.
I think they've won the league.
But 32-0. Yeah, but again, this is where football politics...
They might edge it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just
like,
scraping the
go
last
down
day.
to the last day.
Yeah.
But I just think this is where football politics is a bit silly. That they have obviously Benfica, a huge club in Portugal, got enough money to throw. They can get professional women's players, and yet having to start down in the lowest league and work their way up.
But that's what you want, then. You have to.
You don't want to see a team get beaten 32-0 every day.
But if you start a new club, you have to wait for it. Unless you're Milton Keynes.
Or hashtag it.
No, but I would disagree with that.
Yeah.
I would disagree with that to a point because the Milton Keynes thing, I agree, they should have started lower. But you're talking about not being rude. Men's football in England, which is competitive all the way down to past the National League and all of that. You would argue that it's really competitive standard. With all due respect, the women's game is still growing, and there is a massive disparity between the top level and any leagues below that. Really, even in England, you've got the Women's Super League, and the gap in the standard between that and then the couple of leagues below is huge. To then put a team of professional women in, basically against Sunday league players, and
it's not. More importantly, it takes the biggest thing out of the game that's important for the other teams, which is enjoyment.
Yeah, exactly. Because let's be honest, if you're that team who's going to play Benfica next week, and right, if we get this to 15-0, we've done well.
Lost.
If you score a goal against Benfica, you have.
Yeah, but what's the point in that? There's no enjoyment in that, in my opinion. So I just think it's bureaucracy again, where it's just stupid.
Or you can try and claw back 3 points. Moving on.
I go to Scotland. I've got a few deadline day stories from Scotland, actually. A couple of funny ones.
Okay.
A couple of funny ones. So Dundee have signed 11 players in the last 2 weeks.
That's quite
worrying.
They
basically. Dundee United. Sorry. Yeah. So they've now got a whole new starting 11. But my favourite one is St Mirren, who are in the relegation zone in the Premier League in Scotland. Trying to, when clubs do these like Twitter polls to try and curry up a bit of support and favour. Yeah. So last night they had one that said, you've got a choice of, shall we announce a new striker? Obviously they'd already bought him and lined him up, or go to bed. And of the 5,233 votes, 65% of them told them to go to bed instead. So they weren't interested in hearing the new striker.
That hopefully would save them from
if you're in the bottom of the league and you can't buy, second bottom, and you can't buy a win at the minute, you're not really going to get loads of favour from the fans if you say, shall we go to bed? Don't give them that option. Just shall we announce it now or in an hour? Do you know what I mean?
Fair play to the St Mirren fans.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
So St Mirren then come back and said, okay, fair enough, we're off to bed. But then, only joking, they announced the bloke anyway.
Yeah.
But there's a second part to that. There was a fan who was so disgruntled with St Mirren that last week on Twitter he publicly said, if we sign a striker, because we're that bad, if we sign a striker, I'll shave off all my hair. And then St Mirren then tweeted him to say, right, we'll arrange your hair appointment, and they paid for him to get a haircut because he said that he'd shave his hair off because he was so fed up with St Mirren not being able to score a goal that to encourage them to do it, he'll get his hair cut.
So who was the striker?
He's Dukans Nazon. Don't really know much about him. That's literally.
Is it fair to say he's a January gamble?
I would love
it's
to do
a
that.
massive gamble.
I can find out.
We'll keep an eye on him. We'll keep an eye on him.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Goals.
We'll report back in a month's time.
Yeah, and he's probably been sold. Right, I'm going to go back to England. Obviously, there's another stat with the top 5 leagues. All the league leaders at the moment begin with the letter L.
Including my beloved Luton Town. Craig finally turned up to a game on Tuesday night for a free ticket, eh?
Do you know what made me laugh? I've got to be honest.
I paid for mine.
The bit that made me laugh was obviously.
I didn't buy iFollow.
No, well, I think you did.
I did not buy.
I think you bought iFollow. They
threatened to, which is bad enough.
Yeah, I did.
The bit that made me laugh was in a different WhatsApp group. You then put, it's the best atmosphere that I've seen here in years. Which I pointed out, but Craig, you hardly ever go, so it's
the first time I've been here in years.
No, I went last season.
I'm joking, Craig.
But obviously, Liverpool, Leeds, Luton, Lincoln, and Leyton Orient all top of the table.
And I know I don't want to seem biased. Can we talk about that Luton Portsmouth
game? It was a fantastic game.
What a game of football at League One level. I mean, genuinely for me, the last time I remember seeing that is when Luton were in the top end of the Championship when I was a kid. That's the last time I saw that standard.
05-06, yes.
So to be in League One,
obviously the conditions were poor, obviously because of the snow. And Luton just played it, considering that it was heavy.
First half,
unbelievable. But credit to Portsmouth, second half, they changed their tactics and got back into it.
And another
January sign. It was a very nervy game. Omar Bogle with an equaliser, obviously at 2-2.
Slight side note on that game, which I'd like to mention from a personal point of view, the guttering above my seat gave way with 10 minutes to go. And it was just an absolute flood in front of the 3 or 4 of us there. And
Where was you sitting?
The front of Kenilworth near the clock.
I will say in your defence, Craig, you did that afternoon before the game say Omar Bogle will be a good signing.
And I was correct.
He changed the game, yeah.
He did actually. He was excellent. But yeah, George Moncur with the winner, late minute, 4 minutes from time. Excellent free kick. Poor goalkeeping. It was.
Let's move on
He
from the
moved slightly to
controversy.
the right.
Valencia have done a bit of a send up this whole Spygate thing. I don't know if you saw this.
No.
So you know their like logo is like a bat. So they sent a mascot. They're playing Barcelona. I can't remember if it's next week or week after.
Yeah.
But, so they sent in a spy. It was all done obviously as a bit of a joke. But his match report, his like report of the training session. So is his big mascot in the corner of the training ground as a bit of a wind up, and it just said Lionel Messi, very good. And that was literally it. Like, so yeah.
Say no more, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, even if you were playing them and you were like managing, it was what's the point in spying on them in that sense? They're that much better than everyone else.
That's a fair point.
But yeah, there you go.
I wanted to go back to Italy again briefly and back to England briefly for 2 points.
So where are we going first?
We're going to go to Italy.
Okay.
So we're going to go back to the Coppa Italia and one that you mentioned a bit earlier.
Oh.
Which was the case of Roma v Fiorentina.
Yeah.
Roma collapsed.
They just died.
It was a 7-1 defeat.
It's not the first time they lost 7-1 recently.
No,
In the last 10 years.
I know. Because really, you're a Manchester United fan, aren't you?
No, that was a great game of football.
But I didn't want to talk about the game. I wanted to talk about Edin Dzeko,
Oh, yeah, that was disgraceful.
who decided that it'd be a
Yes.
good idea to spit at the referee. So he's got a lengthy van on his case.
I'm sorry, I have no idea. I have no idea what that noise was.
He's got a lengthy van.
There's
on
a horse
his
in here
case.
now. The elephant's out of the room.
Brought a horse in.
Should the
What did he do? Sorry, I didn't actually see it. I haven't seen
he
any.
just
of it.
spat
I haven't seen it, he's about the ref.
The Italian FA are deliberating it, but if it's anything to go by the Douglas Costa one earlier in the season, you remember
He got full game ban,
he
didn't
spat at a player, elbowed a player, and
Yeah.
headbutted a player in the same game.
Yeah,
Proper elbow, proper headbutt, and a spit, and got 4 games. So I wouldn't hold your hopes up too high, but there we go.
That is awful.
And then the one in England, this affects one of my pre-season predictions. In the mid-season update, it looked great for Wrexham.
Go on.
I mentioned a man early in the season. They signed a striker called Rekeil Pyke, who's absolutely brilliant.
Oh, yeah, but where was it before? I keep hearing
So he's on loan from Huddersfield. He went
Yeah.
to Wrexham.
Yeah.
Brilliant in the first half of the
He's gone
season.
somewhere else.
He has gone to League One Rochdale. So his loan was cancelled at Wrexham and he's been moved on to Rochdale to get experience at a higher level because he was doing so well in the National League.
No harm in that.
And now Wrexham aren't going to win the league because after losing their manager, what do you not want to lose? One of your star strikers. So that has screwed me out of 5 points at the end of the season.
Another, I feel for you, Dan. I don't really.
No.
As long as it's not Salford, I don't care.
Well,
Just top of the table? Oh, they're annoying.
there was a thing. I only come up on my phone just before you two lads come round in Kent about Ebbsfleet. And
Yes, I've literally got that.
Have you got it?
Yeah, I've
You
got
go
that.
ahead then. You know a lot more about this than me, but obviously not
I
being
have
paid
actually.
on time. I think they've been paid on time once.
We
in the
mentioned
last
that
year.
earlier in the
We
season.
have
So
mentioned
now
before.
the players are now enough and basically release like
Yeah.
a joint statement, and obviously once you get to that stage, there's not many other places
Yeah.
you can go after that.
So in their statement, they said, subject to the continued misleading statements of recent months, giving the impression that the football club is financially secure,
A lot of statements there.
we can confirm as players we've only been paid on time once in the last 12 months.
Which, at that level, you're talking not far above the wages.
No.
I mean, it's double what we probably earn in a week, realistically. It's 500-600 quid
Yeah.
a week, isn't it?
We are still outstanding our January salary that is now 7 days late and running into next calendar month. We as players are incredibly disappointed with the club's continuation of releasing press statements that give an incorrect impressions of the state of the football club.
Lots of states.
It's only going one way, that. I've got to be honest, it's not looking good.
It's the next bit. The football club were unable to make players' medical insurance premium, which they are oh, fuck's sake.
Every week that one gets you.
Contractually, anything like that.
Obliged to do. The football club consciously withheld this information from the players, resulting in the players playing 3 matches in the National League without cover. So
See,
one miss, like bad tackle or
No,
something gives way, you're fucked.
I've got an idea. Well, you're not fucked. The NHS is fucked.
So Cody's fucked.
You had a pop at me for using £89 last week.
That's going to be worse. Craig, I've got an idea based on this. Can we get a National League guest to find? Because I'd like to know what not having your players insured costs.
Yeah.
I'll try and find it.
I don't know if they'll release them that high up, but certainly as close as we can get to find out what
We'll try.
they're in for.
We'll try.
Disgraceful ownership. And they sacked Daryl McMahon after he stuck by him.
Yeah.
I've had enough of that.
I think the players will go on strike soon.
Give them back to the fans and let me get involved with being I want to be a stakeholder again.
No,
I want to vote. I
don't
want
do
to
it.
pick the lineup.
Don't do it.
Even though I have nothing to do with it.
They'll just use the AI and win games eventually.
Hey, go on, Charlie. Go on.
Yeah.
You ready for some African Chronicles?
Okay.
Do you want to do your one other one, or have you done yours? Then?
No, I have one more, but I'll go after the African Chronicles.
Right, really quickly, Ivory Coast has been going on for ages now, isn't it? This Ivory Coast are going to host the African Cup of Nations in 2023. It was meant to be 2021, but I think you mentioned this before, they've changed the dates of it. They've moved it all back 2 years to coincide with not World Cups and all this sort of stuff. So
I've got a host next year.
No. 2023 now. No. Who was it next year?
It's supposed to be Cameroon, but they got.
Yeah, they got stripped of it. Well,
Yeah.
Ivory Coast are doing it in 2023 now. Anyway.
I think what you two are perfectly summarising now is how confusing the situation
Yes,
is.
yes, it is.
I mean, I'm not claiming that we're hard-hitting journalists, as Charlie quite often does,
Yes.
but we're making this look as bad as it is.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on anymore.
On a positive side, there was a story we mentioned a while back. Football has now come back to Sierra Leone officially.
Yes.
So they were
Good.
banned. So the Football League is now back. Obviously, they've had a lot in terms of there was the whole Ebola virus and all that a while back, and all these other bits, as well as the corruption charges that we were saying. The footballers themselves who had nothing to do with it.
The innocent power, yeah.
Yeah, so that's now come back, which is really good. So the season kicks off in 4.5 weeks.
Is
So
that as scheduled, or is that...
No, well out of date, but
okay.
they're going to try and get as much as they can as they through. Unfortunately, on the flip side of that, due to this whole Cameroon not hosting the African Nations Cup thing, the teams in the league have also had financial issues with the Cameroon Premier League, and they've now boycotted the first league fixtures this weekend. So it's gone from one extreme to the other. Cameroon, by the sounds of it, footballing wise, is an absolute
mess.
State all over the place. So
Well, there were always problems in the recent years. I remember Eto'o being at the lead of a player statement about a decade ago or so.
Yeah,
it's just a shame.
I think what you got to look back what happened in 1990 in the World Cup, and they should have just gone on from there.
Well, they could have cashed in, not financially, but in terms of the support and the all of that. If it had been managed properly, they could have cashed in on the success they've had, particularly in the 90s.
I think they would have been the most successful African team at a World Cup, obviously going further than quarterfinals.
It's such a shame that yet again politics has meddled with football, isn't it?
But yeah,
when football should be for everyone, not ruined by politics.
I'll save a few
Or Craig Savage.
I'll save some more African
Last
ones for next week. No, that was it. No. So
So have you got any more, Craig? And then I'll finish off with some more weird transfers.
Yeah, I've got one more. National League North, Altrincham.
I saw this.
They're going to wear a new shirt, one shirt for LGBT Pride, so it's a rainbow-style stripe.
Is this a one-off kit, is it?
It's a one-off kit, which they'll play against Bradford Park Avenue next month, and obviously just raise awareness of the football versus homophobia.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. I was hoping they were going to wear it for the rest of the season. Oh, that's quite
nice.
nice.
Picture of it.
I was hoping they were going to wear it for the rest of the season because I'm going to be going to an Altrincham game this season.
Will you?
Yes.
Why?
My mate who lives in Leeds, we go to a lot of the away Luton games up north. His other half's brother goes to Altrincham games regularly. They live nearby, so we were just going to pop along to one. So it might clash, but I highly doubt it, unfortunately.
No.
Okay, let's finish with some more weird transfers.
So a few weeks ago, obviously we
Start of the window.
Start of the window. Yes. So Cody found some weird transfers that had to do with certain places, something to do with sausage meat or something like that.
Well, the episode I believe was called 15 kilos of sausage meat.
So Cody,
that's the clue.
Now here's the clue. Cody, give us some more weird transfers and why.
Well, you may remember from a few weeks ago that was only number 7 on the top 10 I had. So we're going to go through the top 6. There's some not too bad ones, and then some absolute crackers. So. Next on the list, straight on from the sausage meat, we're still in the meat category.
Oh.
Number 6, Ion Radu, I believe that is.
Yeah.
He went from Jules Petrosani to Valsea, and that was for 2 tons of meat. Non-descriptive.
Just meat.
Non-descriptive.
I tell you what, the vegans will hate them.
I've got to say, this top 10 is not great for vegans.
No, sorry.
And when I get to number 4, that continues.
Oh, sorry guys.
However, number 5, again, this Jules Petrosani selling players, and they must have some
Are they butchers? I don't think they're
this
a football club.
This one isn't meat related, but it's still not money. And the club that they sold this player to, UT Arad, you may remember, because they were the team involved in the transfer for the sausage meat.
Oh,
so they committed the selling for the sausage meat, and this time they have bought a player from Jules Petrosani for 10 footballs.
See, I think they got that from Hereford. I think Hereford played a part in that.
10 footballs.
I think what we can say is Jules Petrosani had the original head of football.
Yeah. and now he's at Hereford.
Moving on to number 4, not meat this time, but still something that will upset vegans, which are dairy products.
Oh,
yeah. Can't get rid of that.
Hugh McClenachan, Stockport County to Manchester United.
This is what, 60s?
Long time ago, 50s or 60s, yeah. What do you think the transfer fee was, dairy related? So it's a product, like as in an appliance, and then a product in the appliance.
So
I'm going to go
with
a
English
tractor.
thing with toast. So.
No. If it's like back then, it'd be like farming stuff. Maybe a tractor and 2 cows.
I think it'd be 20 bottles of milk and a milk float.
Well, You're miles off. Milk float is slightly closer. Not right.
How can milk float be slightly closer?
A refrigerator filled with cream.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, that's close.
I mean, I couldn't have been much further away than that. Attractive, could I?
Oh, look there.
Number 3. Franco De Santo, shit list hero.
Fuck's sake.
2 goals and 40 litres of paint.
What? 2 what? 2 goals?
2 goalposts.
Oh, 2 goals. I thought you meant in the team got given 2 goals. On their
That was when he went
in their goal difference.
It could be 2 seagulls, I don't know.
2 goals.
Oh, fuck's sake. That
Mirror
was
week.
to his first lower league professional side from his local.
And how many litres of paint?
40.
Did it say what colour?
No, it didn't.
What it was used for?
Crown.
No, I
Crown
didn't.
paint.
Collins John comes in at number 2.
Oh,
you remember?
What a player.
He ended up at Fulham, but before that he went from Des someone, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, to FC 28. No, Craig, you're not going to help this matter, are you? Let's be honest, mate.
Contractually.
He was sold for a book encyclopedia.
A book encyclopedia.
Hang on, no, because if that's like the Britannica Encyclopedia, they're worth a lot of money, you know, they're big old...
How can they afford
sack
that?
of it. Well,
Book value of encyclopedias, so I have no idea quite what type of encyclopedia that is, because as Charlie says, that can have a huge bearing on how much. But we're coming to number 1, and number 1 is just another meat-related brilliant one. Okay,
Go on.
So Kenneth Christensen went from Vindbart to Foley. This was a little while ago, and his transfer fee was his weight converted into shrimp. He weighed at the time 75 kilograms.
I like shrimp though.
There are unconfirmed rumours that the club that was selling him, before they told him he was involved in a transfer out, had taken him out for a big meal the night before to get more shrimp.
So he was weighing more.
Encouraged him to eat more, so he was weighing a couple of extra pounds.
It's like when you fatten a calf up before you take it to slaughter to get the meat.
Yeah, I mean, not quite as dramatic, but
You get more per pound for it.
so they were hoping to get an extra kilogram of shrimp, basically. So they got 75
You definitely weigh his
kilograms of shrimp.
pockets, didn't you, and stuff like that.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Get the keys, get a big wallet in there, make sure you've got lots of notes out.
That's ridiculous.
But yeah, that concludes our weird January.
I love that
transfer
feature.
stories.
If you could bring that back every 3 or 4 weeks.
Every transfer window.
We'll try and find some more for the summer, but obviously most of these are older times, and it's quite hard to get them in the modern day, where we're slightly more professional.
Okay, it's the moment I've been waiting for of the show. It is Guess the Matchday Squad. So, scores are currently what, Craig?
I'm winning 4-3 because I've come from 3-0 down to go 4-3 up. And
Well,
there's no cheating in the bowl. It was just me using my
Talking of
brain.
late dramatic comebacks such as yours, Craig, we're going to go back
Nice
to
segue.
2012
Nice segue.
when Man City won the league against QPR on the final
knew
day
he was
of
gonna
the
do this
season.
game.
I did talk about this, so you've had enough time to prep yourself. Not talk to you like that about it, but anyway. So, for those people who haven't listened to it before,
What's the rules, Charlie?
Where have you been? No, it is. You're going to name a player one at a time. It is sudden death. Obviously,
You don't need to look at me, Craig.
yeah, Craig, you need to.
Well, I'm winning 4-3.
You've got
Why
your head around
are
it.
you looking at me
I'm
for?
starting to
winning.
think that maybe you rope-a-doped him, I don't know. But it's sudden death. It's going to be named the starting 11 or any substitutes who came onto the field of play. If we are still level at that point, which hasn't happened yet, and I can't imagine ever will,
No.
then go to substitutes who were named in the squad but did not come on.
Yes.
Are there any questions, gents? Before we
No,
start?
I'm winning, so...
Okay, so we're
this is
going back
Cody.
to the 11th of May. Sunday the 13th of May, 2012.
Good start.
Good start for you, wasn't it?
It's the right game. It is the right game. Okay, and obviously Man City won the league. There's an
Yes.
obvious one because there was a famous moment in commentary.
Martin Tyler's fantastic commentary.
Whose
Game.
turn is it to go
It's
first?
my turn. to
Go for it.
first. I'm going to start with Joe Hart.
Joe Hart started in goal for Manchester City.
And I'll start with the obvious one, which was Aguero.
Sergio Aguero, who scored in the 94th minute and then was booked for taking the shirt off.
That's
Like
cool.
he gave a shit.
To be honest, I don't think he should be booked for that.
Well,
That's another argument for another day.
That's not
Yeah,
now. We're
that's
running out of time.
Okay, Gail Clichy.
Gail Clichy started, yes.
I'm going to go for the man who assisted Aguero's goal, which was Mario Balotelli.
Who came off the bench after 75 minutes? Yes, Mario Balotelli.
Only assist. Yeah, Man City ever. That was that.
Great stat, great stat. Pointless time. but
Pointless time. Joe Lescott.
Joey Lescott also started for Man City, yes.
great. Vincent Company.
He started and was captain, obviously, yes.
Jubil Cisse.
Jibril Cisse, yes, he scored after 48 minutes and then was substituted off after 59 minutes. Just really quickly, City made 3 subs, QPR only made 2.
I'm going to go for Yaya Toure.
Yaya Toure, yes, was taken off after 44 minutes.
Samir Nasri.
Sammy Nasri started the game as well. We're getting through these thick and fast.
I'm going to go for Pablo Zabaleta.
Zabaleta, sorry. He did start because he scored after 39 minutes.
He did.
Not quite as good as his Argentinian compatriot Lionel Scaloni though, is he?
No, what a great right back he was as well.
Fuck off, alright? Get on with it.
Jamie Mackie.
Jamie Mackie scored 66 minutes for QPR. That's the first one of the QPR. Oh no, second one.
It's a great header, by the way.
I'm going to take a slight gamble at this stage.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Gareth Barry.
Yeah, he did play.
Gareth Barry did play, yes. Yeah, he was
Picture him on the
I
left-hand
know
side.
you like a Jermaine Prawls, mate, but you've overdone it.
I'll be honest.
He edited it out anyway.
What threw me was that the writing's a bit smaller because this isn't on the usual website I get it from, and I kept seeing Gail Clichy.
You mean you don't have them in your memory bank?
It wasn't Gareth Barry. No, Gareth Barry come off after 69 minutes. Anyway, sorry. Yes.
Did you say 66 minutes?
69.
Oh, right.
There's immaturity from our resident teacher.
Yes.
Scores, right, okay.
Okay. Edin Dzeko.
Yes, he scored on the 92nd minute and came
He scored
on
the first of the two, didn't he?
after 69.
Yeah, the second.
I'm going to gamble on a couple of QPR ones. They're big players at the time. I'm going to go for Joey Barton.
Joey Barton,
Do you know
yes.
why?
He was
sent
sent
off.
off.
He was sent
after-
off, and he went ape shit after he got sent off.
Mike Dean
He
sent him
was
off.
sent off
He,
after 55
he
minutes.
elbowed or headbutted Carlos Tevez.
Carlos Tevez, yes, who was substituted after 75 minutes for, as we've mentioned, Mario Balotelli.
I'm going to go for the other big name from QPR, and I know this is a gamble because I've got 2 or 3 other ones in the bank, but I'm going to go for Sean Wright Phillips.
Sean Wright Phillips did
Against
start
his former
against
club.
his former club, yes. Oh, this is good, this is good.
We're getting somewhere. This is the best one ever. Right.
It's not. It's just not.
No. Until we get to that bit. Paddy Kenny.
Paddy Kenny started in goal for QPR, sorry, yes.
I'm going to go for the resident old man, Clint Hill.
Clint Hill, yes, he started for QPR as well. The tension now is getting unbearable for me, and I'm not even taking part. Right, come on. Craig Bracken is
I've got 1 more in the bank, and after that I'm out.
How many seat players got left?
So you've got.
Oh, don't give him that.
It's just
I'm
it's just
finally
a
got a
question.
chance
Oh,
here.
It's just a question.
You've got
You got some. You got some.
Two City players, one who started and one who was a sub.
One star.
What's the other centre? Oh no, he's centre off.
I'm gonna take a gamble.
Oh.
Right, here we go. Armand Traore.
He came on for QPR after 59 minutes.
I think he came on just after Barton got sent off.
He set up the Mackie
He came on for as the.
Well, why is it a gamble if you know he set up a goal?
because I'm just getting in your head, mate.
I'm
He
gonna
came on for Djibril Cissé.
I'm going to gamble again on a possible another former City player. Neda Manua?
Yes, he
Yeah,
started
he
for
did,
QPR. Yes, yeah.
This is the one guy I'm nervous about for City, and
I mean, if you get this wrong, I am.
it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. Ooh.
What happens if we both
Thing
get
is,
it
I've
wrong at the same time? It's just
Go
wrong.
back.
I've got one of the players, but I don't know his first name.
No.
Oh,
as you well
actually-
established in the second episode, this
I'm
you have to
gonna
know
go
the
for it. I'll take the hit. I'm gonna take the hit. James Milner.
Unfortunately, James Milner was on the bench, but he did not come onto the field of play. So, Dan, you can level the series if you can name one player who was on the pitch. You've got quite a lot from the start 11 of QPR to still go, plus the 2 subs.
See, there's one that I think.
I've got the Q. I don't know if that's his first name though.
There's one in the QPR centre midfield who was definitely there, but I don't know if he played. Another one of the horrible machines, as they were, who actually played at Luton a few weeks ago. I'm not confident enough to gamble. Like, I know lots of Zamora were there at the time, but I don't know if they played. That's the problem.
That's just a pain in the ass.
It's just a pain in the arse, isn't it?
It is.
But I'm going to take my time because that version of FIFA that came out that year, I played as
Oh,
QPR that
ball
whole
off
year.
with FIFA. God's
I'll
sake.
tell you who else was there. I don't know if he played. Just another one over here. I'll tell you, I'm just going to tell you my thought process. I'm between Carl Henry and DJ Campbell. Because they were both there at the time. But I'm not convinced that either of them played in the game, which is the
I'll
main thing.
go for one of them. I've got.
And then I've got Bobby Zamora who just keeps coming back to me. And I mean, this episode can be very long because I'm going to take as long as possible.
The dramatic music is probably on repeat right now.
Yeah. We're just going to go into jazz at the end of this.
Oh, might as well.
And we've still got a City player who must have been near the attacking end of the
Well,
pitch.
you got 2 City players. You've got one who started and one who was on the
We
bench.
did the whole back 4. We did Joe Hart. We've done Barry Torre, Nasri.
Oh,
It's
my
David
God.
Silva!
David Silva played, yes! Cody has pulled it back!
Oh, where's the fair, Craig? Hello, son.
No. As
The
soon as you
most
said that,
obvious
I went, no.
player.
David Silva
The one who's
started.
still there playing.
Yeah. That was a tough one.
That
Right.
was
Thank God I went through the lineup one by one.
I'm going to go for a random shout. Is it Solomon Taiwo? Is that, or was he?
He played for QPR.
Yeah, that's just now.
Right, so it is.
Did any of the three that I mentioned for QPR play?
Bobby Zamora did. The other two weren't even in the squad.
Oh, lovely.
So, no, DJ Campbell was. Sorry, yeah.
But he was on the bench.
But he didn't come on. Yeah.
James Milner.
Yeah, exactly. So, Man City, starting 11 was Joe Hart, Pablo Zabaleta, Vincent Kompany, Jolie Lescott, Gail Clichy, Sammy Nasri, Yaya Toure, Gareth Barry, David Silva, Carlos Tevez, Aguero. On the bench for City that day, Edin Dzeko, Mario Balotelli, and the other one you didn't get who come off the bench, Nigel de Jong. The Dutch centre midfielder.
Didn't expect Edin Dzeko to come up twice today, did we?
Also on the bench was Costel Pantilimon, Mika Richards, James Milner, and Alexander Kolarov, but obviously they didn't get on.
I can't believe Mancini didn't bring on James Milner. He's a solid bet.
For QPR, you had Paddy Kenny in goal, Nader Manua, Anton Ferdinand, Clint Hill, Tayi Taiwo. I don't know if I pronounced that right.
Tayi Taiwo.
Right, did you say it?
I said Solomon Taiwo.
Oh, sorry.
That's the Luton player.
Don't you not remember when we were playing Pro Evolution Soccer 15 the other day? I was some Chinese team and he was like in the mid-80s and scored a cracker against
No, because no one saw it. And
Sean Wright-Phillips, Joey Barton, Sean Derry.
Sean Derry!
Jamie Mackey, Jibril Cisse, Bobby Zamora, who you alluded to. Coming off the bench for QPR that day were Armand Traore and Jay Bothroyd.
What was he doing?
He was one of the January panic signings, wasn't he? I tell you,
is that when he was in the England squad?
He came to the club after the Peter Odemwingie.
When he was outside the QPR.
So Jay Bothroyd come on after 76 minutes and was booked after 77. On the bench,
even remember him being there.
On the bench, QPR who didn't come on that day: Radek Cherny, Danny Gabidon, Adil Tarat, DJ Campbell, and Akos Buzaki.
Oh, what a player he was. I loved Akos Buzaki.
So
same international team as Gabor Kirai, the legend.
Yeah, well done you.
Pulled it back to 4-all down.
No, to be fair, that was a good round, and yeah, probably deserved it.
I bet you're surprised that we got through.
I did. Well, you got basically through a starting 11 and a half plus a few subs. So that was
and thankfully, Craig let the side down.
Well, it's not fake.
I can see why he went
close
one.
I can see why he's a solid.
However.
It's not.
And it's great to know that the moral idiot has lost out, and we'll be discussing that a bit more on Tuesday.
Moral idiots.
Yes.
How cruel are you? And that is it for today's episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can tweet us at HonestFootball3, and we'll see you next time.